Hello! I wanted to extend my toilet roll skittles game, and I thought it might be helpful to show you how you can use one game with different aged children. I'm not going to use jargon. I'm just going to keep it, easy and then everyone will understand it. So if you've got children, unless you're Octomom, excuse me, you will have, and if you've got more than one child, your children will not be the same age, unless you've got twins, triplets. So I thought I would show you how Skittles can be used for different age children. So I hope since I showed you the Skittles that you've been saving your toilet rolls. Okay, so the simplest form is just to count how many are knocked over, and that can be used for everyone because it's also important to point out that it's still beneficial to the older children to play what we might consider younger games. Some people might even call them babyish games. If they're interacting with your younger children, then they're still learning from that. The younger child is learning from the older child, and the older child is most likely having to be quite patient and is teaching the younger child without knowing that they're teaching. They're just showing and helping them maybe. How many did they knock over, and helping them to count them. It's all learning and it's all good. And even if it doesn't go quite as smoothly as you'd hoped, they're still learning from that. Learning to wait and take turns is important, and it's really difficult to do. So is sharing, but we expect very young children to be able to share, and it's actually a really difficult skill. So let's crack on. Do you remember the chick that I showed you at Easter? So you could turn your basic toilet rolls into characters, okay? So there's a chick, which I did for Easter, and do excuse my creative abilities, and my green isn't very green. So that is, in case you can recognise him, Yoda. So you can make your Skittles into Paw Patrol, into, excuse me, I'm a bit croaky today. What else? Characters from your child's favourite book. They can be anything that your children are interested in. You could even make them, if you've got photos, or print out some photos, you could make like mini-me's, and it could be family Skittles. And you could just whack them on and then make little Skittle people. That would be quite fun, wouldn't it? Okay, so you're going to, and then there's also the option to just do what I did and stick on numbers. And you can draw on numbers. So if you're playing with a range of children, you could have different coloured numbers. So this is black, and on the back there's a purple 3. So the black could be for your oldest child, and purple could be for a younger child. So when they knock over some Skittles, the older child looks at the ones that they've knocked over, and they can add all of the higher numbers, the numbers that are in their colour. And younger child can use their colour. So they look and see for their purple numbers. You could mix that up. So if you had a couple, you knocked over 2, and one number is 15 and the other number is 3, let's just say, you could do multiplication. So again, you've got lower numbers in a different colour on some Skittles, and you've got high numbers, and you can mix it up. You could do multiplication, you could do addition, you could do subtraction. And so you differentiate, you make it different for the different levels of mathematical ability or the ages of your children. Okay, so that's with the numbers. And if you're using characters, you can make a little sheet. And again, so you could differentiate this for your different age children if you wanted to. So the youngest children, it could just be they count however many Skittles they've knocked over. So if you've got a range of Star Wars characters and they've knocked over Yoda, a Stormtrooper and Darth Vader, they simply count 1, 2, 3. And that's a good skill, that knowing that 1 is one object and 2 means 2 objects. All valuable. And then for different age children, you could say, right, the chick is worth 3. If you've got older children, you could add that he's worth a higher number. And then they look at the sheet. So they say, oh, I knocked over the chick, so he's 50. And I knocked over a duck, and he's 75. And they add those together. And it's the same with my terrible drawing of Yoda. So you just put your characters here that you've created for your Skittle set, and you give them points or values. It can be 1 for each, one number for each, a different number for each character. But if you have got multiples of children, you could have their name at the top and do them in different colours so that it's really easy for them. And they look to see which characters they've knocked over, and they can add them up. And you can keep a tally, or you could play it, you could do it like darts. You could start with, for older children, start with a higher number like darts. So what do they start with? They don't start with 180, do they? I don't watch darts. I can't remember what they start with. But anyway, pick whatever value you want to start at. If you're just simply knocking over Skittles with a 1-to-1 value, so 1 Skittle equals 1, you can all start with, make it however easy you want to make it, 20. So if you knock over 3, you're going to subtract 3 from 20 and you have 17, and the winner is the first person who gets to 0. And you can do that with these also. You can do it with your different valued Skittles. And then, if you saw my pockets of play, you can take anything. I mean, this is I got some soap delivered in this box and I've just kept it to reuse. Then you just pop your Skittles in the box. Don't know where my ball is. It's over on the table. Pop your little sheet in. I've recycled it. It's an old CV. And then leave it wherever you would like them to play the Skittles, and then they can access that. They can play by themselves, or they can play in their little family group of siblings. So I thought that might help you out, and to elaborate on one game that you can easily make more difficult, more challenging for the different ages of children in your family. Have fun!